Reverend John Miller was born the 21st of October 1604 in Ashford, Kent, England. Ashford is likely that the town originated from original settlement established in 893 AD by inhabitants escaping a Danish Viking raid on the nearby ancient village of Great Chart, although a Roman road passed through here from the iron-making area to Canterbury. It is listed in the Domesday Book, compiled in 1086, as having a church, 2 mills, and a value of 150 shillings, under its original Saxon name of Esterford. John graduated from the Gonville and Caius College in Cambridge in 1627. The college was erected in 1353 when Bishop Bateman built Gonville Court. College Chapel was added in 1393 with the old hall and Master's Lodge following in the next century. Most of the stone was used to build the college came from Ramsey Abbey near Ramsey, Cambridgeshire. Gonville and Caius has the oldest college chapel in Oxbridge to have been in continuous use as such. It was refounded by Dr. Caius in 1565, where he built 3 new gates and also added a tree court. And the first gate is, as you arrive, it's a gate of humility. In the center is the gate of virtue, and when you graduate, you pass through the gate of honor to go to the neighboring Senate House to receive your degree. After graduation, John went back to his hometown and got married in 1630 to Lydia Combs, which was also born in that town, and they were married at the home of Thomas Bumstead. And about a year later, 2nd of March 1631, in Ashford, their first son, John Miller, was born. And being of conflict with the churches of England, John had become more involved in Puritans, and with all the battles going on between the church and the Puritans in 1634, John took on the idea of moving what they called to New England. So in between 1634 and 37, John took his wife and his son and boarded a ship bound to Massachusetts of the United States. He went to the town of Roxbury, joined the church there under the leadership of Reverend John Eliot, who labored in converting the Indians and translated the Bible into the Indian language. I have a note: as a cross-cultural missionary, Eliot was best known for attempting to preserve the culture of the Native Americans by putting them in planned towns where they could continue by their own rule as a Christian society. At one point in time, there were 14 of these towns of so-called praying Indians, the best documented being Natick, Massachusetts. These towns were mostly destroyed by furious English colonists during what is called the King Philip's War of 1675. Also, the first church of Roxbury was the starting point for William Dawes's Midnight Ride, April the 18th, 1775, in a different direction than Paul Revere, to warn Lexington and Concord of the British rage during the Revolutionary War. While living in Roxbury, John had a daughter in 1638 by name of Methatable, which means favored by God. And in 1639, John moved to Raleigh, Massachusetts, becoming an assistant to the Reverend Ezekiel Rogers, and was also town clerk in that place. Raleigh was originally settled as a plantation by Reverend Ezekiel Rogers, who had arrived from England on the ship John of London with approximately 20 families. And also, the first printing press in America came on that same ship. The following spring, on September 4, 1639, the town was incorporated, included portions of modern-day Byfield, Georgetown, and Haverhill. The town was named after Raleigh, East Riding of Yorkshire, where Rogers had served as a pastor for 20 years before his suspension due to nonconformist puritanical beliefs. Rogers was installed as Raleigh's pastor on December the 3rd. Mr. Miller's name appears in the list of grantees of New Barry December 7, 1642. A lot of land in Raleigh was granted him in January 1643-44. 1643 and 45 saw the construction of a fulling mill and grist mill, respectively. The town became known for its hem and flax cloth as well as cotton. In 1640, daughter Lydia was born in Raleigh, Essex County, Massachusetts. In the year 1642, letters were received from Virginia setting forth the great need of ministers in that distant colony. The communications were treated with much formality and gravity and were read publicly on a lecture day. In view of the statements made in the letters, the elders appointed a time for their specific consideration, and the legislature voted that if the church's consent, the magistrates would recommend the missionaries to the government of Virginia. After careful deliberation, Mr. Miller was appointed with 2 other ministers, but he was forced to decline the invitation on account of bodily infirmities. In the year 1644, John and his wife also had another daughter, which they named Faith, and she was born in Marshfield, Plymouth County, Massachusetts. In 1646, John and his family moved to the town of Yarmouth to succeed the famous Marmaduke Matthews. 2nd of May, 1647, they had another daughter named Susanna Miller, which was born in Yarmouth. And also in Yarmouth was 3 other daughters. Their daughter Elizabeth Miller, which was born 13th of October, 1649. A daughter Mary Miller, who was born in 1651. And a daughter Marie Mary Miller, who was born in 1654. In the year of 1658, his wife died on August the 7th in Boston, Suffolk County, Massachusetts, at the home of Thomas Bumstead. I do not know who this is right now, but he must have been a friend. In the summer of 1662, John was a member of the council that convened at Barnstable County to consider the case of John Smith and others who had seceded from the Barnstable Church. It is not known exactly when Mr. Miller went to Groton in Middlesex County, Massachusetts, but probably sometime during 1662, as in that year he seems to have gone with the first settlers. A vote passed in Groton, March 18, 1662 or 3, requested Reverend John Miller to continue with them if he was moved to do so. Land was granted to him, 20 acres, and the town voted to build a house on the land for the minister. But right after he had moved, on June 12, 1663, John Miller passed away. Burial, I do not know where at this time. In works of Johnson, the name entitled Wonder-Working Providence of Zion's Savior in New England refers to him both in prose and in verse. With courage both Miller, through seas doth venture, to toil it out in this great western waste. Thy statue low, one object high doth center, higher than heaven thy faith on Christ's place. Alarm thou with silver trumpet sound, and tell the world Christ's armies are at hand. Mr. Miller was a man of decided literary attainments and a devoted servant of Christ. Now, just for a little review. In 1604, John Miller was born in Ashford, Kent, England. In 1627, Reverend John Miller graduated from Gonville and Keyes College. The 22nd of May, 1630, John married Lydia Combs. 2nd of March, 1631, his first child, son John Miller, was born in Ashford, Kent, England. And then, because of him with the Puritan beliefs, in 35, John and family immigrated to Roxbury, Massachusetts, in New England. 13th of July, 1638, daughter Metatable Miller was born in Roxbury, Massachusetts. In 1639, John Miller and family moved to Raleigh, Massachusetts. In 1640, daughter Lydia Miller was born in Raleigh, Massachusetts. 1644, daughter Faith Miller, born in Marshfield, Massachusetts. 1646, John Miller and family moved to Yarmouth, Massachusetts. 2nd of May, 1647, daughter Susanna is born in Yarmouth, Massachusetts. 13th of October, 1649, daughter Elizabeth Miller is born in Yarmouth, Massachusetts. In 1651, daughter Mary Miller, born in Yarmouth, Massachusetts. 1654, daughter Mary Marie Miller is born in Yarmouth. And note, other children may have been born to John and Lydia, but unknown at this time. 7th of August, 1658, wife Lydia passes away in Boston, Massachusetts at the home of Bumstead. In 1662, John Miller moved to Groton, Massachusetts. 12th of June, 1663, Reverend John Miller passes away in Groton, Massachusetts.